welcome to Life Addictions, the recovery show. My name is John Lausch, and I'm a certified recovery specialist in the state of Florida. Today, we're going to talk about addictions and recovery, whether it's drugs or alcohol, food and nicotine, or some other behavioral addictions. Every week, we have a special guest on, and we like to talk about what they do in their services. We bring you some of the finest guests and modalities in South Florida for you to use around the country and even around the world. Today's guest is Alan Boston from Angel Recovery here in South Florida. Welcome, Alan.
How are you doing, John?
I'm good. Thanks for coming. Please introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about what it is you do there at Angel's Recovery.
Well, my name is Alan Boston. I'm the CEO of Angel's Recovery. And John, Angel's Recovery was started as my wife is in recovery.
Yeah.
And she went through about three or four recovery centers, rehab centers. And what she did is she decided that she didn't like the experiences that she had when she went through these 4 different places. And she wanted to start a place that where the clients are treated with love and kindness and respect.
Right.
Rather than the normal, you come in, they want to make you hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And that type of treatment.
You know, there's so many different rehabs out there and different methods that they use, and I was on your website and I read some of your literature, and it really sounds like a loving, open, warm, caring place.
That's true, and it's set up that way.
Yeah.
And we've had people that have come to us that have been repeats from numerous recovery centers, and they tell us this is like no other center that they've been in.
Yeah.
They said that the therapists were like none others that they have ever been around, and they also tell us that it's very easy to settle in. They feel secure,
right.
They feel safe. People have told us that within a day or two, without us even having too much input, they've turned around 180 degrees in their brain because of the atmosphere and basically the people who run the place.
How many beds are there? How many people can you have in there?
We treat from 4 to 6 people at a time.
Oh, so it's a very small...
Very small and very concentrated.
Wow, that's very interesting. So viewers, if you're watching, if you want a place that's very private for maybe a loved one, a coworker, Angel's Recovery in what town are you in? Wellington?
We're in Wellington, Florida.
Wellington, Florida is probably the place for you. 4 to 5 people, you say?
4 to 6.
4 to 6?
And
that's the lowest I've heard, I gotta be honest with you.
Well, that's because we don't want to put people through there in numbers. We don't want them to be a number.
Yeah.
When somebody comes through, we want to do our best to make sure that they're safe, secure. We want to make sure that they're going to heal. We want to make sure that they're going to, you can't guarantee anything,
right.
But we want to make sure as best we can that they're not going to relapse. And
now I saw the staff. You've got about 4 to 5 to 6 staff members on.
That's correct.
And you know, I read some of their resumes. Very, you know, you have a director, a doctor.
Yeah.
And your other staff members are very holistically trained.
It's strictly a holistic system. We work on the mind, body, spirit, and we also like to bring these people. Some of them, we try to bring the. Not only do we try to get them off the drugs or the alcohol,
right,
but we try to bring their standards up to where they can function in real social life and social settings. Some of them come in and every other word out of their mouth is profanity, etc., etc., etc. So not only do we work on the drugs and the alcohol, but we also work on the person so that they will fit into society. And it's very concentrated. We do it, and we work hard at it.
Let me ask you something. You brought it up. How do you handle somebody that comes in? Because I'm guessing a lot of them do. You know, they're strung out on drugs or alcohol. Their life has hit some kind of horrible wall, and they come in with a bad attitude.
Okay. This is
swearing or whatever. I mean, today's youth is...
I got you.
Yeah.
This is truly a dichotomy as to what happens when they come to us.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Well, actually, I do understand it, okay? They walk into our place in the residence, and for some reason, we get none of that. They come in, from the minute they come in, they settle in. It's kind of I'll give you an analogy. We happen to have been in the horse show business, and we were showing horses all the time. And every week we go to another barn, and we show around the country, like 48 weekends out of the year. And some barns we'd go in, we'd move the horses, they'd walk the stalls and walk the stalls and walk the stalls. And in some barns we'd put them in, and they just drop their head and eat hay and just settle in.
Yeah.
Well, so far, everybody that's come through our doors has kind of dropped their head and ate hay.
Well, it sounds like a magical place, and I tell you, if I knew somebody, I'd probably send them there. And I often do run across many people that say to me, John, where can I send a family member, or where can I send a client? I just got a call yesterday from somebody like that, and I always refer them out, so that's good to know. Is it a 30-day treatment?
Yeah, well, we do a 28-day program.
28-day program?
Right. And
covered by insurance, self-pay?
We take insurance,
okay.
Take self-pay.
Okay, good.
Obviously. And
do you do any, what do they call it, pro bono, or every once in a while you work with a client?
Well, I call this my wife's give back program. And we do what we can. We're a new business. We're in about a year.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of difficult to get all these things done right at the beginning.
Sure.
But we're working toward getting that done.
Yeah.
But we do give some people breaks. We get some people to help other people if they can't afford it.
Right.
When we can.
You know, I got to tell you, we have Alan Boston on from Angel Recovery here in Wellington, Florida. You know, he's just started his rehab, and it's great to hear these stories because we work with a company called Palm Partners, who started out several years ago, just like you. Small. They weren't even a rehab. They were a halfway house.
Right.
You know, the owner had apartments, and he filled them up. And he started out with a small rehab, and now Mr. Harrigan's got, you know, he's just opening and expanding, and I really hope that happens for you there.
Well, we're not interested in getting that big.
Yeah.
To be candid with you, we'd like to keep it to about 12, maybe 16 at the most.
Right.
We don't want to put them through like cattle.
Right.
We want to know the person that's coming through there. We want the therapist to know this person. We want them to know what their shortcomings are, how to build them up. It's not just drugs and alcohol with us. We work on the whole person. We want them to fit into everyday life. We feel that if they go out with the same knowledge they came in as far as living a daily life, that they'll relapse. But if we can bring some of these people, not all, some need to be brought up a level in life so that they can change all their acquaintances and their friends and have a totally different environment when they get out. And we try to get them their mind working into a totally different environment than what they've been in.
Well, I got to tell you, I think you started a great business here, and like many people in this business, you know, you were talking about your wife Margaret, and how she went through 4 centers, and she had her own battles with addiction. And many of us that work in the field have come from some place like that. Not necessarily personally. I know many people that have had a brother or a family member that either succumbed to addiction, or many people even died. And we've had many people on the show that talk about their own experiences. And
well, I've been on the other side. I've been on the other side of the situation, and I believe that it's worse to be on the other side than it is to be the addicted person. The addicted person's doing their alcohol, doing their drugs, they're involved in their own world, they just create a trail of chaos and trash and whatever that the codependent has to clean up. And when I talk to people that have people that they want to bring in here, I also explain to them that I understand where they're coming from, and that they can come in and talk to me anytime and get help as well.
You know, you just said something that really gave me goosebumps when you said that, because you're so right. The people we affect, like I can imagine my mom and my family, when I was out there about 7 years ago, went through complete hell. And you're right. I'm out there partying or doing my thing, and like many, you know, I have to have more guests on the Al-Anon side just to get their point of view, because it really is even worse for them.
It's hell on earth.
It's hell on earth, isn't it?
It is.
When you love somebody, when you see somebody out there practically killing themselves day in and day out.
I talk to people, I talk to their families, I talk to their parents, I talk to their girlfriends, their wives, their husbands. And, you know, some of these parents have been funding this addiction, and I mean funding their recovery time and time again until they're just broke.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I got a call maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago from a woman who was I was trying to get her son in,
right,
and the son said, call my mother, and I would call the mother, and they just don't have anything, you know, and they broke from it, from years and years and years of it. And then I got a call a couple of weeks ago that she called me up to tell me her son died.
Oh my God.
So, you know, once these people have been through it and 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 through it, there's just so much they can do. And then they feel the guilt.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are left bearing the burden of what these drugs and alcohol have done.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because addiction really is a deadly disease, and we really don't hear about it enough. There's people that are dying every day.
You don't hear about.
You don't hear about. There's kids that are committing suicide that is not on the news the next day.
That's true.
Because they're addicts, and they either overdose, they're high on drugs, but they don't report it, do they?
No.
They don't. And so, you know, we need to talk more about that. And it really, really is a horrible disease. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about, in South Florida, one of the big epidemics, and across the country really, is prescription drug addiction. Right. So we want to see what, you know, how that, in some rehabs, it's 50-50 drugs and alcohol, and in others, it's 80-20.
Right.
So we'll come back and we'll talk to Alan. We're going to watch a commercial about the Recovery Pod. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Life Addictions, the recovery program, has been under development for over 3 years. It's personal, portable, and more importantly, it works. My motivation to start this business was to help people with addictions, to literally help save lives.
We're best known for our delivery system. It's called the Recovery Pod, embedded with life-saving audio. Just open it up, turn it on, and hit play.
Along with your Recovery Pod, you get a 4-page laminated follow-along guide. What sets us apart from our competition is our message. It's uplifting, inspiring, and to the point.
My name is John Laus, the creator and developer of Life Addictions, the recovery program. Our model of recovery starts with clarity. Clarity from the minute you wake up and open your eyes. Knowledge and know-how. Know-how are the things that motivate a person to change and take action, like your health, your family, a life that works, and a life with a purpose. Life Addictions, the recovery program. Visit us at our website at lifeaddictions.com. Hi, and welcome back to Life Addictions, the Recovery Show. My name again is John Lausch, and I am a certified recovery specialist in the state of Florida. And what you just saw was a commercial for our product, the Recovery Pod. Now, Alan, I know you haven't listened to this. You're new to this specific product,
right,
but this is a really amazing product. The commercial's amazing. The product's amazing. Rehabs, VA centers, outpatient centers use it. Individuals use it. It's an audio program that's already downloaded. It comes inside this box here with headphones and a charger. You simply just turn it on, hit play. You can multitask with it. You know, you see many people today in society with headphones on. You don't know what they're listening to. This specifically has a recovery program downloaded onto it. So it's very simple to use. It comes with a 4-page laminated guide. So it gives you some visual. You know, studies have shown if you can see a little bit about what you're listening to,
right,
you'll retain it.
Sounds like it's good for a tune-up.
It is. It's good for a tune-up. And you know what? The reason a lot of people relapse, in my opinion, is they actually forget. They literally forget. They forget where they've been. They forget about the meeting they were at last week. They forget how bad it was. And this is a great tool to walk around. You know, it's amazing what you can do with technology.
Yes.
This small little thing, you don't need a CD player or anything. It's based on a couple laws of learning. The law of repetition.
Right.
The more you hear something over and over again.
Repetition is the best teacher.
It is the best teacher. And the other thing is the law of recency. The thing you hear most recent is what you're going to retain. So it's a great product. Please check us out at lifeaddictions.com.
It's also like when you train for anything, martial arts or whatever it be.
Yes.
If you can't do it physically and you do it in your brain, it's the next best thing. So if that's working on your brain while you're doing something else, that's an excellent way to train.
You know what? I want to bring it out to your place. I want to try it out. I want you to try it out.
Oh, we will.
And I really think it's a great product. And that's what we're doing now. We're going out and we're actually spending time. We're training facilities. We're training their staff. No charge to them. We're just saying, we know it works. Please just buy the product and we'll come out. Because it's so simple, but yet, you know, with technology today, people get, you know, a little frightened about it. They're like, oh, okay. But once they get started, it's so easy to use. Let's get back to our interview with Angels Recovery in Wellington, Pennsylvania.
Wellington, Florida.
Or Wellington, Florida. That's right. I'm from Pennsylvania. Alan Boston is the CEO there. Him and his wife Margaret run it. It's a brand new place. They only have 4 to 6 clients at a time. It sounds like an amazing place. Tell us a little bit about the question we left off with. What is the breakdown when people come in? Is it more drugs, more alcohol, and more specifically, is it prescription drugs?
Well, it is, but I've been getting about a 50-50 split.
Okay.
So it's kind of equal. When the phone rings, you don't know what it's going to be, but it's been breaking about 50-50.
So you have 50 alcohol, 50 drugs,
about
whether
half and
it's
half.
about half and half. Interesting. Some places that
and a lot of both.
A lot of both. Right. Okay, gotcha. Sure. A lot of both. Some places tell us, you know, they'll buy 10 recovery pods, and they'll say, John, give us 2 alcohol and 8 drugs.
Right.
Because that is what, you know, and...
I'm finding about 50-50.
Excellent. So the big thing in today addiction world and how it's changing is these drug mills, these prescription drug mills are, you know, pain clinics that are, it's just crazy. You know,
they're shutting them down now.
They're shutting them down. We had Paul Sloan on, the president of the Pain Clinics Association, on about 6 weeks ago. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you go to Vimeo under John R. Lausch and watch it. We had Paul Sloan on and a doctor from California on debating the new laws that came into effect.
I know some people that personally, but I know them from a different business. I know them more from real estate. Yeah. And they just shut them down, and they got long sentences.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's doctors out there that because of the money, my tennis guy, you know, his doctor just went to jail. He can't believe it.
No.
He's been his doctor his entire life, and this guy just went to jail for this. You know, so it's, you know, it's a sad thing. Let's move on now to what Angels Recovery does, and one of the things they do best is life skills.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your life skills program there at Angels Recovery.
Well, at Angels Recovery, we feel that when people come in for the addiction treatment, that basically they've had a full-time job getting their drugs, getting the money for their drugs, or getting their alcohol and whatever. And we find that they have very little outside interests. So what we try to do is we have different life skills that we teach them. We teach them martial arts. We teach them music. We teach them how to play piano, etc. We also have equine education at our place. We have horses. So we try to get them interested in the horses. We also do business education with them. Ones that need business education, we teach them how to deal in interviews. We teach them how to write their own resumes. We teach them how to sell if they're interested in that. But the main thing that we do is we don't take them over everything and then run them over everything again and again. We try to find out what really hits a spark with them, and then what we do is we concentrate on that life skill, because what we want to try to do is build enough of an interest so that when they go home and they're bored, that if we taught them the martial arts, they'll go down a block and join a martial arts school.
Right.
And that way they can pick themselves up when they get bored, go down to the martial arts school and train. Get it into their schedule so that they get busy doing things.
Yeah.
You know, if they're taking piano lessons, we get them to take piano lessons when they get out. You know, we do what we do when they leave to fill up their schedules so they don't have time for boredom.
Right. Well, that's you know, you have to have that, and if you don't, they go back and they just resort to whatever it is they did, which is so learning a new life skill and being trained there is an amazing process.
Another thing that we have that's different is that the people that come to us, believe it or not, we have a hard time getting them to go home.
Is that right? You got to kick them out.
We have to kick them out. They love it.
That's
there.
a good thing.
Like I said, we treat them with love, kindness, and respect.
Yeah.
And they love it there. We also take them out. We do things with them like other places do. I mean, we take them bowling, we take them this, we take them that, so that they have, you know, in between they're out in society. We give them field trips. We do them so they don't feel like they're in a cocoon locked away.
Right.
You know, they have to still know what's going on in the outside world.
Well, I got to tell you, I can't wait to come by and take a tour. How far are you away from our studios here?
Not far, probably
10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, not even.
Excellent, excellent. Alan, where can they reach you? Give us some contact information, a website, a phone number. We have people that are watching from all 50 states.
Okay.
Most of them are from South Florida, but all 50 states and even abroad. So your clients that come in, do they come in from everywhere? Or?
Yeah. Wherever they call us from, they seem to get here.
Excellent, excellent.
You know, they get on a plane or whatever. It's not far by plane.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you want to go where... I tell people that come to us, you're going to go through recovery, and you're not even going to know you went through recovery, and you're going to come out on the other end, you've been through recovery. A lot of people leave and say, God, it's 28 days up already?
Right.
You know, and they
Goes
actually
very fast.
have a good time going through recovery. It's not stressful.
Give us a website, a phone number.
Okay. It's Angels Recovery, ANGELS, recovery.com. angelsrecovery.com, and phone number is 877-634-8488.
Excellent, excellent. It was a pleasure to have you on our show. Every week we'll have a different guest on our show, and I promise you we'll keep it interesting. We brought you different modalities, different people, and as we said with Alan, we're going to have more people in that are from the Al-Anon side, or that is family members that suffered through somebody's addiction. Really a horrible thing for the actual addict, but even worse, as Alan said, for the family members. I can just imagine.
I believe.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
I've been there.
Yeah, yeah. And if it's not for the family members, an addict hardly ever finds his own way.
No.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah. And please check out our website at lifeaddictions.com. We have additional videos, and we talk about our great product, the Recovery Pod. And I urge you, if you're listening, if you have a family member, call us up for a Recovery Pod. We have one that's individual, one for alcohol. We have one for drugs. Very easy to listen to. You know, I always tell this story. I had a mother that called me up. She bought a couple Recovery Pods for her daughter. She calls me up 6 months later, and she says, my daughter relapsed. You know, your stuff doesn't work. So I said, well, you know, I talked to her a little bit, try to calm her down. And I said, well, you know, did she, you know, how many times did she use it? She goes, well, we didn't even open it up. It's still, you know, it's, so you have to use it. You know,
John, if you give me a minute, I would like to give my wife a lot of credit.
Yes, please do.
I mean, and, you know, it's her vision to see that these people get treated exceptionally good, exceptionally well. And when they meet my wife, they're right away they're drawn to her.
Yeah.
She has their best interest at heart, and this is, like I say, this is her give back program.
Yeah.
So that's all I can say about that. And whoever does decide to come will get the best care possible.
Well, I definitely will tell people about it. We're going to get the word out now with our show, Angels Recovery. Margaret, I'm sure you're watching. I can't wait to meet you. And Alan, thank you so much again for being a guest.
Nice meeting you, John.
Thank you. Goodbye now.